Are you looking to block advertisements on your web browser, smart TV, mobile phones, or any device around you, especially those used by kids? Well, you are in the right place. I'm going to show you how to harness power of Pihole running smoothly on a Docker container right on your PC. It's simple to set up, doesn't require running a separate machine, and use fewer resources. So let's dive into the step-by-step process of installing Docker Desktop on your Windows 11 PC and setting up Pi-hole to block advertisement across your home or office network. Welcome to IT Samurai Teacher. My name is Shihab Dul. You have probably heard of Pi-hole, the network-wide AD blocker that's been gaining popularity among tech enthusiasts. But have you ever considered the benefit of running Pi-hole in a Docker container? Today we are diving deep into why combining Docker with Pi-hole is not just a smart move but a game changer for your home or office network. Whether you are concerned about security, efficiency, or just curious about the latest in tech, this is one video you won't want to miss. Let's jump in. Okay, first step, jump into your Windows 11 box. I have Windows 11 64-bit. I'm going to open a web browser. Open any web browser and go to www.docker.com. We're going to download the Docker Desktop. So go to the products, Docker Desktop. You can sign in, you can create an account and sign in. If I go to the pricing, it's going to be free for personal use. Okay, so I'm going to download. I already have an account. I need to download the setup, and you can see under the download for Windows, you can see you can download for Mac, Apple, and Linux. I'm going to download for Windows, and it's downloading. Once it's downloaded, we can run the setup. Okay, download it, finish. I'm going to run this Docker for desktop installer. You can say, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? It's normal, so I'm going to click yes. I'm going to close this. Okay, it's popping up. You can see in the top it says installing Docker Desktop 4.27.1, and this is the version number. And after that, you can see configuration, use WSL2. This is Windows subsystem for Linux 2 instead of Hyper-V recommended. So we're not going to use the Hyper-V, so we're going to use WSL2. As a shortcut to your desktop, I'm going to keep it default and I'm going to hit OK. And now it's going to unpack the files, it's going to install everything. And we're going to come back again. Okay, installation finished. I'm going to hit close and log out, and the system going to reboot. If not, I'm going to click yes, it's going to reboot and we'll be back. Okay, next you're going to click it says Docker subscription and service agreement. By selecting accept, you agree. So I'm going to hit accept. Okay, next you can see there's another page pop up. Finish setting up Docker Desktop. Complete the installation of Docker Desktop. Use recommended settings. Requires administrator password. Docker Desktop automatically set the necessary configurations that work for most developers. You can see the use advanced settings. I'm not going to use the advanced settings, but if you're familiar with any stuff, you go with the advanced settings and you do your own studies. Now I'm going to use the recommended settings. I'm going to click finish. And after that you will get another user account control. I'm going to hit the yes. Now this is the finish. So you can see, if you don't have an account, you can sign up, and if you already have an account, please use the continue without you can hit the sign in button, and also you can continue without sign in option 2 if you don't want to create a user account, but I highly recommend to make a account and sign in. Alright folks, now that we have got Docker Desktop installed, it's time to gear up the next big step, setting up the Windows subsystem for Linux, or WSL for short. This is crucial for our Pihole setup on Docker, and I'll walk you through every step. So let's dive in. First step, we're going to enable WSL on your Windows system. This allows us to run a Linux environment directly on Windows without the overhead of traditional virtual machine. It's like having the best of both worlds. Now, first of all, open Windows PowerShell as an administrator. You can do this by searching for PowerShell in the Start menu, right-clicking on it and selecting Run as an administrator. I'm going to click yes. Once it opens, we are ready to roll. Now type the command WSL and install, and it enter. So this command kicks off the installation of Windows subsystem for Linux, which is game changer for developers and IT professionals. You can see it's installing button 2. Now sometimes you will get, if you don't use the Docker setup first, sometimes if you run the WSL this first in the first step, probably you will see a message saying Windows subsystem for Linux is already installed. That's mean you're ahead of the game. But for those seeing this for the first time, it will install WSL on your system. Okay, I bringing up the Docker Desktop, so you can see I sign in, and if you go to the containers, you can see you don't have any containers. Images, you don't have any images. Builds, volumes, nothing. So it's fresh installation. Now I'm going to bring up my cmd command. Open your cmd. Now we need to pull Pihole Docker image. You can do it from the cmd, or you can use the Docker Desktop. I'm going to use the cmd. It's very easy. So to pull the Pihole Docker image, you need to type docker pull, and after that Pihole /Pihole, right? So now we need to do the latest. So this going to pull and download the latest Pihole Docker image to your Docker container. You can see it's pull everything download. So you need to make sure everything's go perfect without any errors. So this will going to pull all the Pihole image, and after that we're going to show you. It's going to be very fast. You can see status download new image for Pihole latest. And what next? View a summary of image vulnerabilities and recommendation. Docker Scott quick view Pihole latest. So I'm going to keep like that. I'm going to open the Docker Desktop. I'm going to images. You can see now we pull the Pihole. So everything looks good. If you go to the containers, so we don't have anything. So the image there, but the container is blank. So we need, next is we're going to create the container. Okay, next we need to create some folders. Open File Explorer and create some folders. Location I'm going to use in the C. You can create any location you want, but make sure you have this structure. So I'm going to use a main folder called Docker I'm going to use everything on Docker containers, and after that I'm going to use new folder, and I'm going to use Pihole config. So under the main Docker containers folder, I have a project called Pihole config, and under this we're going to create two volumes. One is etc dnsmasq.d. The next one is the next volume. I'm going to create etc dash Pihole. I will explain you in a bit why I need these two folders. Okay, we have etc dnsmasq .d, and other one is etc dash Pihole. Okay, good. So we are done with creating these two folders. We need these two path for our script. Okay, next we need to run a script. Before the script, I copy to a notepad so I can explain you. So this is the script we're going to run on the CMD, and this one is a breakdown. The same one is in one line, and I this readable format, so I can explain you. The same one is here, so I can run in one line. So let me explain. So the first one, Docker run dash G, is a run a container in detached mode in the background. Okay, and after that we can see name Pihole, this one. Assign the name Pihole to the container for easy reference. And after that we can see dash p53 tcp dash 53 udp maps port 53 on the host to port 53 in the container for the both TCP and UDP. This is necessary for DNS queries. After that we can see dash p80 maps port 80 on the host to port 80 in the container used for accessing the Pihole web interface. And after that dash p443 maps port 443 on the host port 443 in the container, allowing HTTPS access to the Pihole web interface. And after the ETZ sets the environment variable to America to Los Angeles. This is the configuring the time zone inside the container. You can change to your time zone. So if you're in the East Coast, you can change according to your time zone. Now, these two can see Docker containers Pihole config etc Pihole. So this is the one we created the two folders, Pihole dnsmasq.d. So according wherever you create these folders, according to that you change it over here. So if you create it on D drive, change it to D drive and put the path. And after that in this have two extra field. I'm going to explain you now. So this one mounts a volume from C Docker containers Pihole config to etc Pihole config in the container for Pihole configuration files. The other one is etc.d mounts a volume from C Docker containers Pihole config etc DNS msq.d on the host to etc DNS msq.d in the container for DNS settings. Okay, I hope you understand this two code. And after that we can say restart unless stop. So ensure the container automatically restart unless it has been specially stopped. And the last Pihole latest specify the image to use, which is the latest version of the Pihole image from the Docker Hub. Now, so everything I'm going to run in a one line. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open CMD again, run as administrator, bring up that, I'm going to enter. Can see just did something. Now let's go in here. Oh, the container is here. Cool. So now you have your Pihole container installed on your Windows Docker container. Now next thing, you need to bring up the web browser. Now we need to log into this Pihole web interface. So how you going to log into this interface? Normally to log into the Pihole interface, there's a two ways. You type http / or https / and you type localhost admin maybe I don't need the S. Yes, so http, if I'm correct, http localhost admin, the IP address, log into the Pihole interface, and this one. Now you don't know the password because it's supposed to give us a password. Now this is for Linux sudo. Windows also supports sudo now. Actually, you need to have a different channel. I'm planning to create that separate video for that. Now we can't use this sudo because you cannot use sudo on Windows at this time, but in the future Microsoft are supporting. Hooray! This was great. I love that. So you can see if you type this, it's not going nowhere. So we need to have the password. We need to reset the password. So how are we going to reset the password? So what you need to do here is from the CMD we type docker exec dash it Pihole a dash b. So enter new password. Yahoo! Hooray! We're going to type the password. We're going to confirm the password. So make sure you give some kind of password. And now I'm going to enter that password. Wow! See? So now we have the Pihole in here. So if you go back in here in the container, you can see how much CPU usage is taking, 0.92%. So now we can see the Pihole is running and everything looks good. Now next thing is this. Actually, I'm going to speed test and see the advertisement. So next time when we configure, you will see if we can block this advertisement. You can see the advertisement popping up from the top, right and left and bottom, everywhere. So now we're going to I'm going to close this. I'm going to keep only one. So you can see it's not configured yet. So what you need to do here to configure to assign the DNS. So what you need to do here is, actually, you know what, I'm going to use a different computer, not this machine. So let me jump into that web interface in here. So you can see I don't see anything. Why is everything 0? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the DNS now. So what you need to do here is go to properties. Normally when you go to your machines, you don't see anything like this. Everything DHCP unless you have a static IP address. So what you need to do here, you need to change the DNS to the Pihole DNS. So this is my Pihole IP address. Okay, 68.131.1 and click OK. Click OK. Now let me, before I restart, I'm going to use HTTP to 168.131. Okay, I put admin. So this is the, okay, now we're getting something. So now I'm going to refresh and see. Yes, you can see I don't see any advertisement right now. See, everything's got blocked. So going to use again speed testnet. So you can see I don't see anything. Everything looks good. So now we can see total queries is, it's getting everything and it's blocking all this advertisement and everything. You can play around the Pihole, and if I bring up the container, you can see the container in here. So the Pihole running under the inside the container. You can see the CPU usage and the memory usage, and this is running, and this is the Pihole IP address, which is I'm using on this machine as a DNS. You can see if I go to the properties, TCP IP, I assign the IP address on the Pihole. So now this machine pulling up the DNS address. So if you visiting any websites, it's going to block by the Pihole, so you have a safe browsing. That's all for this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you on my next project. Thank you. See you soon.